Welcome in to NFL Daily by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show, we have the latest news and rumors from across the National Football League. We'll get things started with Lamar Jackson. Now that OBJ is headed to Baltimore, will Lamar Jackson be there for the long haul? We'll have an update on the Lamar front in just one moment. Also, the Cardinals currently hold the number 3 overall pick in the draft. Could they be trading down potentially from that spot? We have some insights we'll get to. Also, the Carolina Panthers visiting Bryce Young. What are the chances that they take him over C.J. Stroud at number 1? Got an update on that. Also, more NFL draft buzz with the draft just around the corner. You will not want to miss a moment here on this episode of NFL Daily. We are closing in on 331,000 subscribers here on the channel, but we need your help to get there. Look, we're going to be live throughout the entire NFL draft. We are talking all the latest happenings when it comes to trades, free agency, the draft. We also talk the NBA, college football, and more. This is the channel for you. If you haven't subscribed already, what are you waiting for? You ain't alive if you ain't subscribed to Chat Sports. And the best part about it, it's free. It doesn't cost you a thing. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV to subscribe today, and you'll be glad you did. Let's get started with Lamar Jackson. Could Jackson be returning to Baltimore following the Odell Beckham Jr. signing? This was a big deal for the Ravens, as OBJ is guaranteed to make at least $15 million, could potentially earn up to $18 million. And you would have to think, why would OBJ want to go to Baltimore if Lamar wasn't coming back to Baltimore, right? That was the questions on everyone's mind when this news was announced. Well, within hours, we saw on social media a photo, courtesy of Lamar himself on Twitter and Instagram, of a FaceTime call of a conversation between OBJ and Lamar Jackson. It has come out that Lamar did some recruiting for OBJ to come to the Baltimore Ravens. So you have to think that something might be in the works. Now, at the time of this taping, no deal has officially been signed, but agreed to. And there's a big difference between the two. Because a deal hasn't been signed, the Ravens still have to make some money work before they can actually put the pen to the dotted line. And that would also potentially factor Lamar's situation. Maybe a Lamar contract is to follow. Saying that, I would be shocked if OBJ was coming to Baltimore without Lamar Jackson coming back. That doesn't mean even that a long-term deal necessarily will get done for Lamar Jackson, but maybe we're looking at a situation where OBJ comes back and Lamar says, all right, I'll play on the tag this year and we'll figure it out later down the road. One way or the other, whether it's the tag or a long-term deal, I am pretty confident in saying that Lamar Jackson is going to be back playing alongside OBJ and getting a much-needed weapon. And we've seen what Lamar Jackson is capable of. You know, it's so funny that for the longest time, what did we hear from the naysayers across the NFL? That Lamar, the way he plays, isn't friendly to wide receivers in this league, that he can't get the most out of them, that he chased Hollywood Brown out of town. But you go back to 2019, what did he do? Not only did he win the MVP, he led the league in touchdown passes. OBJ wants to be there. They're going to pay him a decent amount of money. You get Rashad Bateman back as well, and you might even bring in some more receivers in the draft or free agency. Watch out. I am very excited for what this Ravens team could do in 2023. I think he's back in Baltimore. This is our pinned comment today. Let me know what you think. Will Lamar Jackson be back with the Baltimore Ravens? If you think so, type R for Ravens. If not, type O for other. What are you thinking? Is Lamar back in Baltimore? R for Ravens, O for other. Let me know in the comments section below. ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter with an update this morning on the situation with the Arizona Cardinals. Could they be trading down from the number 3 overall pick? Schefter tweeting this morning, at least 6 teams have inquired with the Arizona Cardinals about trading up for the 3rd overall pick in the upcoming April 27th NFL draft per league sources. Cardinals still are mulling whether to move the pick or make it. Now, I'll say this much. when you look at the teams that are all considering trading up to where Arizona is picking, they all have the same thing going on. They are looking for quarterbacks. Arizona's got their guy. His name's Kyler Murray. And you look at the roster where this Arizona Cardinals team is at, of what they've lost and coming off such a disappointing year last year. The Cardinals are lacking talent and don't need a quarterback. It's not shocking news that they potentially want to trade down and that they have teams interested. The reason why this is all happening, though, it's not anything to do with Arizona thinking that they want to replace Kyler Murray. The story here is that teams are trying to jump in front of Indianapolis potentially to draft a quarterback with the idea in mind, let's go to 3 to make sure we get the quarterback we like, whether that be Anthony Richardson or Will Levis. More than likely Anthony Richardson, based on the way boards have been mocking here the last couple of weeks to avoid Indianapolis from getting him at that number 4 spot. The current draft orders you can see right now. Carolina with the number 1 overall pick. Houston at 2. Arizona at 3. Indianapolis at 4. Seattle at 5. Maybe, just maybe, we see the top 4 quarterbacks, that being Young, Stroud, Levis, and Richardson, all go 1, 2, 3, 4 in those first 4 selections. And 6 teams potentially interested in that number 3 spot with Arizona. We'll see what they do there. We'll continue to follow it here on NFL Daily. Speaking of the NFL draft being just around the corner, you're in luck. Draft hats are on sale now. You can represent your favorite team, whether it's ball cap style or maybe it's the flat bill, whatever it may be. We have all different types of hats in different shapes and sizes just for you. These are the same hats, folks, that the players are going to be wearing on draft night. So let's say you're a Bears fan, and with that number 9 pick they hold, just think about this. The hat you're wearing at your draft party is the exact same one that a future Chicago Bear is going to be wearing. Same with the Ravens, same with the Raiders, all these other teams. We have them available on sale now. You can still get yours before the draft while supplies last. So what are you waiting for? Get yours today. Tell them that Tyler Jones and Chat Sports sent you. You'll be glad you did. That's chatsports.com/NFL draft hats. I mean, with the draft being just around the corner, why would you not want to wear those hats and be the coolest guy or gal at the draft party wearing the same draft hats that they're going to be wearing on draft night? Get yours today, chatsports.com/NFL draft hats. Bryce Young, who is projected by many to be the number 1 overall pick in the draft, is going to have a visit with the Carolina Panthers on Tuesday. That's according to reports that are out there. It seems like the Panthers are just kind of narrowing down things, whether it's Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud, one of the two. The numbers comparing the 2 quarterbacks a season ago, Stroud was better in completion percentage, passing yards. Young a little bit better in rushing yards. Stroud threw for more touchdowns with 41 and 6 interceptions thrown by Stroud compared to 5 from Bryce Young in the statistics that you see there. And think about this, though. Those are just the numbers from last year. You go back to the year prior, though, it was Bryce Young who won the Heisman Trophy and had an outstanding season. So Stroud, although looked a little bit better this year, Bryce Young yet to factor in how great he was the year prior winning that Heisman Trophy. Those aren't the only quarterbacks, though, that are being talked about. Anthony Richardson visited the Carolina Panthers on Monday, and he is viewed still as a possibility potentially for that number 1 pick. All signs point to that Young and Stroud are the guys, but Anthony Richardson not completely out of the picture per se. The odds updated for that number 1 pick, Bryce Young, the betting favorite, not by a whole lot, but just a little bit of enough anyway, at minus 110. C.J. Stroud at minus 120. Anthony Richardson at plus 1,800. Will Levis at plus 5,000. And then there's Will Anderson, who is back there at plus 1,500 there, or 15,000 rather, that number from Will Anderson. So here's one thing I'm thinking about with Carolina giving this visit to Anthony Richardson. Maybe I'm overthinking this, but hear me out. Well, the Panthers owe it to themselves to do their due diligence, to look at every possible option when it comes to that quarterback position. Something tells me that just giving the visit to Anthony Richardson might be a smokescreen of some sorts, trying to send some mixed messages. The Carolina Panthers have been evaluating quarterbacks for months, ever since their new staff came into place. And I don't think that they traded up to one without knowing exactly who they were going to pick when they made that decision. I think they know who their guy is, but they're kind of double, triple checking and keeping other teams on their toes. Personally, that's what I'm looking at. Who's the better quarterback in this draft? Is it Bryce Young? Is it C.J. Stroud? Here's what I want you to do. Keep it simple. Y for Young, S for Stroud. Who's the better quarterback in this year's draft class? Let us know in the comment section below. Y for Young, S for Stroud. Who do you think is the better quarterback in this draft class? Couple other news and notes before we wrap up here on the draft roundup. Will Levis visiting the Tennessee Titans and the Atlanta Falcons this week. The Titans, of course, trying to find another option beyond Ryan Tannehill as his days appear to be numbered. The Falcons, they're going to go with Desmond Ridder, it seems, this upcoming season, but still kind of doing their due diligence like we talked about with Carolina there. Jalen Carter visiting the Seahawks on Tuesday. According to NBC Sports' Peter King, a lot of teams have already taken Jalen Carter off their draft boards. Seattle with that number 5 pick there and potentially could go with Jalen Carter. Very fascinating to see if they will go this route, how that visit goes. Remember, his charges, he ended up with a plea agreement where he will not have jail time, won't face jail time, did not impress much in that pro day, though, so something to keep in mind from Jalen Carter. The numbers on Carter, an All-American performer, a first-team All-SEC selection with 3 sacks, 7 tackles for loss, and 32 tackles there. Hendon Hooker getting some buzz as potentially the number 3 quarterback. Remember that mock draft we showed you a couple weeks ago for Mike Tannenbaum of the NFL of ESPN that had Seattle taking Hooker at number 3. He is coming off the ACL injury that he suffered at the end of last year. He is 25 years old, so he's got those things counting against him. But listen to what Jeremy Fowler had to say about Hendon Hooker. This is a prospect that is considered to be climbing up draft boards a little bit. There's a potential he could go late in the first round. Teams are a bit torn on him. Hooker, last season in college football before he got hurt, was the best quarterback in the country. Last season, he had the best year going before he got hurt, was on his way to potentially winning the Heisman Trophy and being in the college football playoff, but that injury really set him back. Also, one note, Jackson Smith and Jigba, the only true round 1 wide receiver? Very interesting, right? Here's what Jim Nagy of SB Nation had to say about this. One thing has become clear, or from the Senior Bowl, rather. One thing has become clear on calls around the league the past couple of weeks. NFL isn't nearly as high on this year's wide receiver class as the media. Frequently seeing 4 or 5 wideouts in mocks, have spoken to numerous teams that have only 1 first-round grade at the position. That guy is JSN. And that backs up what I was talking about with a friend of mine, Keegan Renault, who works for RPM Data, doing data analysis on draft prospects. And Keegan kind of told me the same thing, that the view is among those in league circles, beyond JSN, you have a lot of number 2 wide receivers. You even go as far back to potentially day 3, and a guy like Marvin Mims out of Oklahoma is viewed as a number 2 potential receiver, while maybe Jordan Addison is as well, and Addison looks like he's on the verge of potentially being a first-round pick. So something to keep in mind, we could see those wide receivers slip and be expected to be more so the number 2 receivers as opposed to number 1 wide receivers. Subscribe to the channel. We got you covered. This is your draft headquarters here at Chat Sports NFL Daily. We got you covered. This is the place to be if you want more draft content. We are talking about it. Also, the latest news and rumors. This is the channel for you. We'll see you next time here on NFL Daily. Appreciate you joining us, and have a great day.